At a few locations around the country, hospital staffs are hard at work creating the healthcare of tomorrow, today. They are at the forefront of a revolution to improve the patient experience, as well as reap huge benefits for the staff and the bottom line of the hospital. Their secret weapon? The implementation of a patient-centric, advanced lean operating system. This video intends to tell the story of this revolution through the lens of the Lucile Packard Children's Hospital Perioperative Unit. You'll meet some of the Lucile Packard Children's Hospital staff who are the real-life implementers of this system, and you'll learn the tenets of this patient-centric operating system.
Once you get going on a lean transformation and you have the buy-in you need from the critical mass, particularly management's engagement, the prospects for the future are limitless.
We'll finish it out.
The staff at Lucile Packard are moving beyond the aha moments of understanding the value of lean operations in hospital settings. They are in the thick of it, tackling the hard work of implementing and maintaining a tact-based system.
Perfect quality, in a timely manner, in an empathetic, healing environment with the fewest resources possible. It can be done.
Of course, all lean systems development starts with the basics. The first step is to make sure to build your house on a solid foundation. Level 1 is education and engagement of your team, understanding of your value stream, and perhaps the most important, recognition that success relies on building the system around the patient, not the doctor.
During level 1 work, it is important for the organization to align around the patient as the customer. Equally important is for the organization to align around the concept of patient flow. Patient flow is what I would term the nirvana of lean work. It's what we all aim for.
Understanding patient flow is the most fundamental concept of a lean operating system in a hospital setting. It's not about any one department or doctor at the hospital. It's about the patient. We want the patient to flow seamlessly through the various departments in the perioperative unit. A sick patient first enters pre-op for intake. From there, the patient flows to the OR for surgery, then to the PACU or recovery room. From there, depending on the surgery, the patient either flows home or to an inpatient bed for further recovery, eventually leaving the hospital as a well person. The goal is that the patient keeps moving with no waiting and perfect quality. It turns out that a system set up to address patient needs will in fact reflect the concerns of staff, be they doctors, nurses, and all the support staff.
And that one's gone up to the 10 o'clock meeting.
One of the most interesting things for me about the lean journey started very early on when we created our first value stream. And I had the opportunity to sit in a room with peoples from materials and supplies and the sterile processing and the communications and the schedulers and the nurses, and all of a sudden I realized this was a really big complex puzzle and every single piece is so critical, from the person who mops the floor to the tech who brings in the supplies, to the supply people who bring in the supplies to the hospital, and the trucks. I mean, every piece has to be working for it to come together.
Or is that a game day decision?
Level 2 is all about operational stability. It is the beginning of the quality and safety journey, which is paramount in the business of healthcare. One important aspect of operational stability is to make sure the system has the methods, equipment, supplies, and staff in the right place at the right time. The acronym is MESS, or MESS. For the S that stands for supplies, an example of a reliable lean method to control inventory of supplies is Kanban. This means keeping just the right amount of inventory in place with ordering and delivery just in time.
The new system is something like this, where you have a bin in the front with a Kanban card, which is your trigger to be ordering the item. So the end user is consuming the item, pulls a full bin forward with supplies, and it's ready for consumption. Then this cart gets put into the Kanban post. And then every day I stop by at 7 o'clock and at 2 o'clock to empty the posts and put them into our Kanban board. And that will trigger an order.
Another part of MESS is reliable methods, such as quality gates, which work to stop the flow if there is a safety or quality issue.
That flow should only be interrupted by a quality problem. We call those quality toll gates. So when we set up our standards to help our patients move through our various subunits of our perioperative services, our standards are predicated on perfect quality and safety at every step, for every process step. That ensures flow.
With the printers being down in intake and pre-op today,
MESS also includes equipment and staffing, which use similar lean methodologies to maintain lean operational stability. Visual management is a key methodology used to maintain in an environment that is fast-paced. If the mark is red, it's a signal that action is needed to right the ship and get back to green.
at our mess board, we meet as a team at 10 o'clock in the morning and have a huddle. We're looking at methods. Are we following our scheduling procedures? If we needed something delivered, is the process working to get it delivered? Equipment is clearly equipment. Do we have the equipment we need to take care of our patients today? Same with staff and supplies. Everyone will bring their issues to the board. If it's green, we don't discuss it. If it's red, we look at what the issues are and discuss what our mitigation plans are.
And supplies, we had an issue this morning with the ventricular shunt, and Bonnie and I have started dealing with that.
It takes serious commitment to maintain operational stability. Everyone is needed to keep things running on an even keel. This is where daily management of all these methodologies is critical.
The key to the mess board is really getting through today. We'll go from there if issues are raised, and we'll take those over to an issue board where we track things, because if we have an issue today, the idea is we want to put a plan in place so that it doesn't happen tomorrow. And the MRI
scheduler is going to include it in public comments.
Okay.
We have a very visual inventory system now. You know exactly where your items are, you know what's on order, you know when something is not coming in, you have a visual system. And that's the driver, and that's what actually got me to believe into the system.
To move beyond the operational stability of Level 2 into a more advanced lean system seems to be where many lean efforts in healthcare come to a screeching halt. This transition takes a lot of planning and hands-on work with the staff. The work will be challenging at times. However, the rewards will be just that. Rewarding.
So I think not realizing that it has workflow impacts.
Right.
Starting on a lean journey requires understanding the basics, engaging people, and doing what we would term basic operational stability or level 2 work, as well as level 1 engagement work. That's very, very important in any organization, and that allows the organization to rally around the concepts and to start understanding what deep problem solving is. If there's a bed available, they should never hold us up. That was, I thought, an agreement.
Not everyone's always readily available.
Yeah. To move to that advanced state is very, very difficult. It's a struggle. We've struggled with it, but the struggles are very, very much worth the outcome. It really requires extreme commitment on the part of the organization to say we're going to do something so incredibly different, and we're going to solve big, big problems, big systemic problems. And the way to do that is to advance to levels 3, 4, and 5.
Level 3 is all about matching capacity to demand. Level the schedule using tact time to match work to the cadence.
When we built this system, we realized we needed to pace our patients through our system at a set cadence. And it's a relatively simple calculation for us. We went through and figured out the amount of hours that we have available to us in the day and the amount of cases that we anticipated to go through that time period. And so in our case, it was 600 minutes. We have a 10-hour day, so 10 times 60 is 600. And then you have about 30 cases that will flow through our system. So you divide 30 into 600, you get 20 minutes. So tact time is the pace in which we want our patients to flow through our system. So in our case, we want patients to flow through our system every 20 minutes.
So how to manage that patient flow? The method is the level loading board. It is a visual representation prepared 2 days in advance of the OR schedule, containing cases of different lengths. OR rooms are on the left side, and the PACU, or recovery room, is on the bottom. This chart shows how patients can flow from the OR into the PACU at a steady drumbeat. Each colored block represents the length of one case in 20-minute increments, our TAC time. At the bottom, each face represents one patient who arrives into the PACU from the OR every 20 minutes. The flow of patients depends on the accuracy in scheduling and the ability of the staff to maintain tact.
So it looks like we've got a pretty big cluster of patients coming out here between 10 and 12.
Just like all levels of the operating system, there is a need for daily management.
Level loading truly does connect capacity to demand. It really helps us to better plan and more appropriately determine what the resource needs are going to be and allow us to be more flexible with how we adjust our resources throughout the day. I'm thinking it's going to go at the end, which would put it kind of closer to where this was where we had 2. So let's put this one down here. So we'll move this one with 2, which would, allow us to start a little bit earlier in the day. Just about every operational department within the operating room will come in and take a look at this. So the OR will come in and take a look, OR management, anesthesia will come in and take a look at it. The pre-op and PACU resources will come in and take a look at it. And they'll push back. I mean, it's a great opportunity for us to talk about what can be moved, what can't be moved, start to ask these questions about when we've got 3, which we're okay with, but we'd like to get it to where it's 2 per 20 minutes. Where we've got 3, can we move those? Can we change those? Can we adjust those? And it's a great, healthy sort of dialogue back and forth between operations and scheduling to be able to determine and figure out what makes the most sense considering the constraints that we have within our system.
Although the team works hard to level the schedule, the system won't be perfect. What happens when there's variation on the day of surgery? How does the system manage variability? This is where the production control team works to level capacity to demand in real time. As variation occurs, they make staffing adjustments to match staff capacity to the actual patient demand.
We've built production control for the operating room. So we have a production control person. She's our air traffic controller that really is responsible for making sure that as variation occurs within our system, it's her responsibility to make the proper and necessary adjustments to get us back on track.
At an airport, air traffic control does its best to maintain a steady drumbeat of planes taking off and landing. Of course, they deal with their share of unforeseen variables, like weather issues. But it's because they have standards and ways to deal with variation that flights can have highly predictable takeoffs and landings.
I see the patients as things coming in, and we have a level schedule that we need to meet. And so these patients are all scheduled to come in a certain cadence and timing, which is about every 20 minutes. So during the day, I look to see and make sure that those patients are coming in at that pace. 2 of the patients who stayed last night for tonsillectomy, extra recovery, are having to stay longer and may bump into the patients we're expecting from the cath lab for recovery. So I've already talked to a PACU to alert them to that situation, and I'll keep an eye on that today. So I look at those things, and then I go back and I try to adjust and see how can we mitigate these circumstances, and what can I do, who can I notify so that we can get this back as into the proper level as possible. Just like an airplane landing, we can't have it land too soon or too late.
Level 4 implements time-based standardized work so that abnormalities can be easily seen. And since we know that these events that stop patient flow can have a detrimental impact on the whole system, having a plan in place to deal with these events is critical. This will drive a management requirement in a whole different way. Remember, we must align around patient flow like we did in Level 1 with the value stream. But now we create standardized work that's supporting that patient flow in a specific time known as cycle time. This swim lane diagram illustrates the choreography of standardized work of everyone in the perioperative unit. A staff member's ability to follow their standardized work will ensure level patient flow, and the synchronization of the entire system demands a cross-functional team approach. Staff will follow the standard until they can't. It's at those moments that everyone is empowered to pull an andon. Andon simply means signal. It's a signal for help anytime the staff cannot meet their standardized work within the cycle time. This moment in time exemplifies the principles of process stop or line stop, which is the linkage between patient flow and perfect quality. Andon signals management for immediate help to get the patient flow back on track while maintaining perfect quality.
9 o'clock, it was red. What was the issue at 9 o'clock, Pam?
At 9 o'clock. It's really taken a lot of coaching and, work with the staff to make them understand it's okay. It is absolutely okay if we don't hit the cycle time. We just want to understand why. And I think when they start to see that some of the reasons that we don't meet our times or our efficiency is not where we want it to be are the things that trip them up every day and make their workflow difficult, bit by bit, as we start to solve some of those problems, they start to really become more engaged and understand at the end of the day it's to make their workflow easier.
In fact, it is management's responsibility to respond immediately to all andons and work with the team members to attack any abnormalities or variations in 2 steps.
Okay, did we have to put the OR on hold at any time?
We did for about 5 minutes.
The first step is to triage, make an immediate fix, and get the process back on track. The second step is to solve the problem at its root. In other words, fix the system so the same issues won't stop the flow again.
Using a takt time environment, it allows those problems to surface so that people are identifying them, and then we know where to go do the work. And so as a manager, that makes it easy for me because I'm not guessing at what I think the problem is. I know because the system has told me and the staff has told me.
And so I stayed to help them.
Oh, okay.
Random audits and daily Gemba, or in-the-workplace walks, provide both details and high-level information about the current state of operations. Attention from across functional management teams to the problematic issues will create sustainability for this patient-centric system.
What we're working on here in intake has been our patient that comes down to the APU for a dressing change almost every day.
Daily management is really the glue that kind of holds all this together. Without daily management system, without leader standard work, without really the management team going to the Gemba and seeing and trying to understand what's happening to the system, it's destined for failure. So as a manager, it's our responsibility to make sure that the staff have the tools that they need to be able to do the work that they need to do.
We did get a phone installed, and Isaac made a phone list of the numbers for materials, and we just need to get that laminated and on the wall, and that one will be done.
Level 5 is all about continuous improvement of the standard. It is a never-ending cycle of eliminating waste from the system and improving patient flow. Once the team has consistently been hitting their standardized work and therefore cycle times, then it's time to move to level 5. The work at this level is an opportunity to do better and lower the cycle times. This, of course, will create more andons, which in turn will create more opportunities for continuous improvement.
We're researching to see if this is just an OR or if it might be affecting other units in the hospital as well.
You're always trying to attain perfect quality. And so it is those tiny iterative steps that are going to get you closer and closer to it. And then as you look at perfection, that sometimes changes too. As circumstances change, as healthcare changes, that perception of perfection may change. And so it is just a continuous iterative process. And how do we get comfortable living in that? You know, people say, oh, we keep changing. Aren't we good enough yet? We don't ever want to feel complacent and that we are good enough, because how do you keep getting better? And so all of this lends itself to that, having standard work, whether it be at the staff level or the leader level. You know, it all drives to perfect quality and making this experience the best experience that our patients can have.
In healthcare, it's very important that we are leading with quality, safety, and patient flow attached to that. When you do that and have a laser focus on the patient experience and staff experience, the money comes out of the system. High quality work costs less than low quality. That's been shown over and over.
Continuous improvement. That's how we improve patient flow in a tact-based environment. Every day there will be variation in the workplace and therefore opportunities for improvement and learning. It is an ongoing journey that needs everyone's participation to keep moving into the future.
Lean is a set of tools, it's a management system, and most importantly, it's a mindset. It's a mindset of perfection. We aim for perfect quality. It's a mindset that we will get rid of all the wasteful processes that get in the way of our staff doing great work and our patients receiving great care.
Terrific.
And it's a mindset that we will continually improve these processes day in and day out and continually improve the standards. So there's no benchmark for Lean. The only benchmark is yourself. And you need to come to work every day with the thought that you're going to do better than you did the day before.